Joining us right now from The Athletic. Busy day for him, free agency. He's going to be breaking news and breaking stuff down. He's going to be offering grades and, I don't know, whatever the heck he does. From The Athletic, get not one but two subscriptions if you can at theathletic.com. Sleepy Sam Amick joins us. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi, Sam.
Whatever the heck he does, huh, Dave? You know?
Well, you do so much.
What do? You just sit on the air and you just talk.
Yes.
I don't know what you do.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not.
That's
not,
actually right, Sam. You pegged it.
Not arguing. Sam, are you going to Vegas? Putting you on the
Yes.
spot. You are? Okay, good. I'll see you there.
Oh, good. When are you going?
I'm going the Sunday through Wednesday. Brought to you by Power Business Technology.
Yes.
Find them online at powercopiers.com. Yeah, going Sunday through Wednesday.
All right. Look forward to seeing you, buddy.
You want to hang out? You
Absolutely.
want to go eat?
If there's food there.
Okay.
That's a possibility.
Give us the Kings breakdown. I don't want to put you on the spot because I know you got 30 teams to cover. Who are the Kings looking at? Who are they going to sign?
Give us all of them.
All of it.
Yeah, I'm going to not fulfill my weekly Kings duty very well today. I don't have a ton of Kings chatter. I saw they had been tied to Malik Monk. That bothers Lakers fans who want Malik to come back
Oh, wow.
on the relatively cheap. Yeah. So, I don't know. They have been tied to John Collins stuff, which remains viable. That's not free agency, but, it's that time of year.
Are you hearing the same I am that they're, nothing's imminent, nothing's probable, but that they continue to engage on Collins?
Yeah.
It's okay if you're not. I'm asking.
No, I am. It didn't sound very confident.
Leading the witness.
Well, I am. I mean, I guess.
I played the fifth,
Right.
like some other people these days.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't figure out what direction the Hawks are going to go with Collins. I think they're definitely moving him, but it's just, the never-ending trade talks with him. But free agency-wise, I mean, you tell me. I'm going to, I'm going to flip it on you. What names, if any, maybe you'll jar something loose in my own upstairs. But what names, if any, have you guys hearing?
Well, I guess the one we are first wondering about, not even necessarily tied to the Kings first, but would be DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
Just had you heard any more on that, like in the sense that, it seemed like Monty coveted him. Obviously, the first time didn't get him. Then they got him in this Bagley trade. And it's a qualifying offer, and now the Kings make it known that they're not giving him the qualifying offer, which I guess there's still a remote chance he could come back. But what do you think how did that process all play out, at least in your mind, from what you know, Sam?
Yeah, I need to get some clarity on that today. But, I mean, I don't know. They just – I know I'm a little too close to it just because I live here, but it does seem like, man, they, more than most teams, the Kings have this history of weird – restricted free agency, kind of moves, and usually it's pretty straightforward. And then you try to give them the benefit of the doubt. But, Dave, I saw your tweet about how you were reserving judgment before you lose your mind or whatever. And I feel like, it's probably a tweet you've sent out before about other guys.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's just, I mean, the stuff for sure that you hear there about, DiVincenzo and how he saw the Kings and his role last year and his camp not being happy. I mean, I don't know. It's whether it's him or certain draft picks, they are obviously, and this is not, Monty McNair, Wes Wilcox's fault. It's the Kings' history is just making it tough. It's compound interest of the worst kind, if that makes sense. The teams and players, they keep running into, camps that don't want to be here. And I think it makes it challenging because of, how bad the past 16 years have been.
Sam Amick with us. That's something we were talking about earlier, Sam, on a more philosophical level, and just to underline why Kings fans shouldn't be too revved up for this. The rumors last year was, there were some goals in DiVincenzo's contract tied to playing time that they were trying to hit, and then you have the trade happened and his playing time was messed with, and you heard the rumors that his camp was not happy about that. And also last year we know, and we talked about this, but again, just in retrospect, putting it all together to create a picture that Marvin Bagley's agent came to town at one point and had it out with Monty McNair, and shortly thereafter Bagley was part of the deal going to Detroit. And this is on and on and on. We've heard stories about agents and camps, like you said, just not saying, do not go there. The only reason to go to Sacramento is if you're old and you need a contract or they're going to way overpay. It seems that they're very much operating behind the eight ball. Is that to you, is that accurate? Now, let me ask you straight up, Sam. Is there a team in the NBA with a worse reputation amongst agents and camps than the Sacramento Kings?
Again, well, that's a tough question. I mean, I think about Phoenix, and then they turn it around.
Right.
I think about, man, I don't know.
What, New York?
Answer's probably no. No, I mean, New York is always
sure.
There's lipstick on that pig, so to speak, because it's New York. So like the bar is just, or I guess the floor is higher, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Because of everything that comes with it. Even like a Kyrie Irving's a good example. The second he's in distress, in Brooklyn, the Knicks are on his list. I mean, that's a high-level player that immediately uses the Knicks as, whether it's genuine or leverage, whatever. The Knicks are in the mix because of the New York factor. So it's probably the Kings. And I saw, after the draft, that Monty got asked about. I think James Ham was the one who asked him about the number of prospects lottery prospects that didn't come through. And it's just that is something that doesn't get highlighted that much. It's almost like we do them a little bit of a favor at times by not putting salt in the wound, but it is real.
Yeah.
And then they sometimes try to act like it's not, but it is real.
Sam, speaking to that, at least on the Kings front of the draft, last week we talked to his draft day, and we now know it's Keegan Murray. Some, Jaden Ivey are moving back or different things. There's always going to be opinions on that, but kind of your read amongst others around the league of what they thought of the drafting of Keegan Murray.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one where locally I feel like the narrative is okay and somewhat palatable. It's okay. Maybe it was, we talked last week about fit over talent. And I had said that I certainly heard going in that it was going to matter, and then that bared out with the pick.
Good thing I didn't disagree with you.
You sure did, man.
Nice text.
All these years later, yeah, I know, right?
Sam, but just so people know, Sam texted me right after the draft. I don't care about bringing off-air stuff on because you were right here. Sam texted me like 2 seconds after they picked him. He's like, told you. Way to doubt me, bro. Like, that's the type of person Sam is. That's okay. Go ahead.
And I did listen. I sympathize. I've never been the guy who's got to sit in the chair and do the press conference. So my disclaimer is I'm saying this lightheartedly.
Yes.
But I also, might have joked that like when Monty talked about Keegan Murray in the press conference that we should have had a game going and take a shot every time you said best player available.
Yep.
Because there was a real emphasis on that. But to your question, how did it get seen around the league? A pretty healthy amount of people. And this is the fun of the draft where we will see over time. But I mean, a lot of, folks who obviously thought Ivy was the better player and that this was a fit pick by the Kings. And we'll see. When you guys dropped, I think you guys last week dropped that reference to the 3-4 different times where the pick right after the Kings was just brutal.
Yeah.
Like that, we all know the history, but the good news is, Keegan has got a fantastic reputation, supposed to be a very good player. I do still think whether it's John Collins or something else that, Harrison Barnes could certainly be on his way out and Keegan will be kind of taking that mantle and a similar type player. So, he could be very good. I'm not ready to sit here and say they made a mistake there. You just can't. It's going to take years to know how that choice went.
Sam Amick with The Athletic joining us. Sam, it's been written, it's been talked about. I'm curious as to your thought. Was the DeJounte Murray trade the first open salvo in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes?
Yes, it was. In fact, I wrote about that yesterday with our guy, Chris Kirshner.
That's where I read
Hawks beat writer. Yes. Mm-hmm. And, did you read it twice because of the 2 subscription thing?
I read everything twice, buddy. I get my money's worth. Don't worry about it.
2 comments,
right.
2 reads.
Right.
Yeah, the thing I always love, I operate in the nuance and the context, and so I wasn't aware until yesterday, although we didn't write this part, but that Tony Parker, was part owner in the club, that Victor plays in France. It's not real tough to connect these dots. What I think is interesting on the Spurs side is that it really, like we did write about how during the trade talks between Atlanta and San Antonio, the Hawks at one point got a little nervous because the Spurs went dark on them for a while, and the Hawks thought, maybe they were having second thoughts or pulling away from the possible deal. They didn't really know what was going on. And I think what was going on was the Spurs group, which is R.C. Buford, Brian Wright, their GM, and obviously Greg Popovich, was looking at this fork in the road between rebuild and keep competing and, being a playoff team like they have been forever, except for the past couple of years. And philosophically, they decided go ahead and rebuild. And it's like, it makes for a heck of an interesting, end to Greg Popovich's coaching career. They're going to try to get Victor and then, kind of reenact the Tim Duncan, David Robinson era, I guess, where they they get a transcendent player and then they're on their way. So we'll see how the next couple of years go, but I think for sure that played a part.
All right. That's Sam Amick of The Athletic. Sam, as always, appreciate you. Looking forward to talking to you next week to recap all this craziness, and looking forward to hanging out down at Summer League and breaking news and writing things and reading things and all the fun stuff we do. So appreciate you, buddy.
Appreciate you guys. Be good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we're going to take a break before, so I want to talk to you